Hello, my name is Alex Davis and welcome to Lexus of Wichita, where today we are in our beautiful photo bay and joined by a car that I wasn't sure I would see this early. This is the brand new Lexus RZ in 450e trim. Now, we'll talk about trims. We don't know a whole lot about this car. We know that it's new. We know that it is full electric. So I want to thank you in advance for taking the time to watch this, but as always, we'll start off at the front. So a beautiful two-tone paint job. You don't have to get the two-tone hood if you don't want to, but certainly an option that I think you should select. Kind of sets the car off from any other car on the road right now. This is Lexus's first venture into their full electric platform, and it's size-wise kind of placed right around that RX size. So it's based off that size. So if you're trying to get an idea of how big this car is, it's right around there. But on the front, we will have our new redesigned grille kind of structure. I say kind of because this is the same structure that we see on the RX, but in this case, we got rid of the grille. There's just a mild suggestion of it as a form of kind of an air intake look there. We do have a Lexus emblem on the front that is illuminated, so very, very cool. And then that same swoosh mark on our daytime running lights, and then 1, 2, and 3 also a part of that daytime running light structure with your LED headlamps just there. You do have headlight washers as well as air curtains here to move air around the outside of that wheel, making sure that turbulent air doesn't happen. And then a little bit more of an intake here. This actually is your grille, your intake for clean air into the cabin, and a little bit of cooling for the electrical components that are sitting under the hood. But a nice strong line here, again, signifying that new Lexus design language. Elegant, but strong. Moving on to the side of the vehicle, we will have some 20-inch wheels, this time in a new design for Lexus. So very cool stuff there. And then further along the side will be our new door handle structure. And so if I spin it the other way, there we go, talking to the man in the booth. Spinning it the other way will reveal the full side profile. Again, like I said, size-wise, this is going to be based off of the size of the Lexus RX, but named the RZ. Up front here, you will notice we do have our charge port right here with DC fast charging. It won't let me open it because the key's in it, but I promise it's there. We have 150 kilowatt hours of DC fast charging, so it'll go from completely flat to about 80% in about 30 minutes. Now let's talk a little bit about the electric platform here. It is a skateboard platform, which is aptly named as the battery pack is sitting low in the vehicle for better weight distribution and just between the front and rear axle. This is a four-wheel drive model. We're unsure if they're going to be launching a front-wheel drive only model. They most likely will be, as well as lower trims of the four-wheel drive model, because this is our top of the line, the premium trim. We're expecting a luxury trim just below this sometime soon when they actually launch the vehicle. All-wheel drive, the 450e will have over 300 horsepower and over 400 foot-pounds of torque, so similar to the RX kind of 500e platform as far as horsepower goes. Mainly a front-wheel drive car, over 200 horsepower to the front wheels and just over 100 wheel horsepower in the back. I'll talk to the man in the booth upstairs really quick. I want it to go that way. That's so cool. Never get old there. Side of the vehicle, again, like I mentioned, this is going to be similar size to the RX platform that everybody is familiar with, their mid-size luxury SUV, but with a few changes. Of course, one being this little panel right here. This panel is where you're going to be doing all of your DC and AC charging. DC, of course, being fast charging, AC being a little bit slower. But in DC form, it will go from 0 all the way up to 80% in about a half an hour. So super, super fast charging there. Now, we don't know a whole lot about this, so a lot of this is going to be speculatory, but some figures we're pretty certain about. We're pretty certain it's going to have right around 300 to 350 horsepower, mainly being a front-wheel drive car. Over 200 horsepower will be able to be sent to the front axle, and just over 100 will be able to be sent to the rear. Now, we do have the four-wheel drive system here as well, so it can send up to 100% power to either axle, depending on the driving situation that you happen to be in. If you're in dry roads, if you're using a bit of more throttle, a little bit more of that launch control style driving, or if you're in snow or rain, it will manipulate it as it needs to. So really cool that you have all-wheel drive in this one. We do expect them, this is the top of the line premium model in all-wheel drive form. We expect there to be lower segments, so a luxury trim in four-wheel drive and perhaps even a front-wheel drive only model hitting a little bit lower in that price point. I would expect entry-level models to be around that 50 and premium models to be edging into the 60s, maybe into the 70s, but we're hopeful it's going to stay right in the 60s. Like I said, we don't know too much about it. We're just very excited. We do have redesigned door handles, so these are not physical door handles, even though they look like it. They are button actuated. So there's a button on the back side of each of these 4 door handles on the sides of the vehicle. You simply press it and it opens up. You do have physical switches if you need to get into. That's just down here if the battery is dead. Same thing on the inside of the vehicle. There's a button, but you can pull that same button and lever will pop out so you can exit the vehicle again if the battery runs flat. Moving along the side, wonderful curves. I love Lexus's kind of signature fly line here, moving up kind of like the LC500 product and then sweeping back down. Two-tone paint job will get you kind of this floating roof with these winglets here. I think Lexus was having a bit of fun. They say it's for aerodynamics. I just think it looks cool. But we'll get onto the more on the back of the new RZ 450e in just a second. I do want to hop inside because they stole something from Elon, and Elon wants it back. The inside of the new RZ model will be parroting Lexus's new kind of integration into technology and, more importantly perhaps, touchscreen. So 14.1-inch display here that is touchscreen. So no more of the joystick and kind of mouse that they've had in previous generations. We have a full display here that is all touchscreen enabled. I'll get my door closed here. And as I'm closing my door, I want to mention the materials that are used on my door. So you have kind of this Alcantara looking material, and this feels like leather, this feels like leather, it all feels like leather, but it's not. This is a full vegan interior. So synthetic leather everywhere on the steering wheel, on the doors, and then this kind of Alcantara material as well on the seats and everywhere. So everywhere you look, no animals were harmed in the making of this vehicle. So kind of unique and kind of cool and trendy. I will get this fully closed. There we are, nice and solid. But completely new display here. Power switch here for turning on and off the vehicle, and then your vents will be manipulated up here as well for both driver and passenger. 14-inch display, very responsive, very easy to get along with. You, of course, have Apple CarPlay that takes up the full screen, which is beautiful to see. Super responsive and very easy to get along with. And a bit of multitasking is happening here as well, because you can be tuning your radio or dealing with navigation or perhaps vehicle settings, and your climate control will be just underneath that. So you have auto heated and ventilated seats and an auto heated steering wheel. So as you manipulate your temperature, your heated steering wheel comes on, your heated seats come on, and as you go down in temperature, the AC seats come on and the heated steering wheel turns off. So it's part of their kind of climate concierge program where you simply get in, set the desired temperature, and the car will do everything it needs to make sure you're at the desired temperature. So fully integrated touchscreen here. I like how it's placed on the dash, kind of positioned a little bit towards the driver for ease of use, but very easy to get along with. You have your front and rear defrosters along with heated mirrors and a physical volume knob, which is wonderful to see in an otherwise very technologically advanced car. You do have park assist here where the vehicle will park itself, it appears, as well as a surround view camera that will twist around the vehicle just like that, and you can kind of see everything going on around it as you wish. We'll turn it off there. 3 USB-C charging outlets, and it looks like one is a data entry point as well. I have my phone on the wireless charger right here, and it's very, very nice because as you remove it and then put it back on, I don't know if it'll do it because that was kind of fast, but it'll actually give you, there we are, a little icon on the screen letting me know that my phone is charging. So I don't have to tap it, I don't have to look at it, I don't have to find the little green bar at the top of my iPhone to see if it's charging or not. It simply tells you that it is. So wonderful there. Completely new gear selector for Lexus. So we have a push park button. That's not uncommon in vehicles nowadays. But we have kind of a push and twist scenario with selecting drive, neutral, or reverse. So if I wanted to go in and drive, foot on the brake, down and twist to the right, and now I'm in drive. And of course it's going to scream at me. I'll turn that off. And then in reverse as well, and it'll start screaming at me again. But you can see proximity sensors all the way around the vehicle, including one right here that's sensing a garage door just to our right-hand side. Very, very impressive
amount of sensors around this vehicle. But down here, you'll have your electronic parking brake, your auto hold function, which will allow you to simply take your foot off the brake at a stoplight and relax your foot, and then simply use the accelerator pedal to move on, and then your traction control there if you do want to drift your new RZ 450e. Cup holders here, nice and deep and very easy to get along with. And then center console. Super large, and it isn't kind of this two-ply fashion, so it flips. It's kind of cool. Either driver or passenger can get in very easily. I said that they stole something from Elon, and obviously you've been looking at it this whole time. It's what everybody's talking about. It is this yoked steering wheel, but Lexus, while they stole the design, they have their own bit of intuition when it comes to usability. So steering wheel controls, all these buttons are unmarked. However, that's where the heads-up display comes into play. So previously, my opinions of heads-up display is they're a little bit useless. You can certainly see your speed, but if you look 2 inches down, you can usually see your speed right there in front of you as well. Speed limit signs, certainly you see it in the heads-up display, but you'll notice you also see it right here, so a bit redundant. But in this case, they're not. It's very usable, and it's the only way you're going to know what these buttons actually do. So as you glide your finger on them, on my heads-up display right now, I can see what each of these buttons do, and it's assigned based off of this pages button. So if I hit the pages, I can move through my displays here as well as on my heads-up display. So there's my compass and navigation, my audio, my elapsed average speed, and my total power consumption, and then finally my driving support with my adaptive cruise control. And then I can move the display down or the display up. Up here you'll have your cruise control settings and your lane keep settings as well. And then over here, this is going to be your cruise control. On the left-hand side are going to be all of your audio settings. So you can have volume up or volume down. And as you use the pages here, you can make a phone call. You can use Lexus's voice command system. You can change tracks back or forward. You can change your audio mode, or you can turn your audio power all the way off. So a very kind of interesting way to change and evolve steering wheel controls while not adding nor subtracting any functions. So very cool stuff there. The stuff that gets a little quirky is going to be down here. So these are going to be, of course, you have your windshield washer stock just here, but here you'll have the intensity of the windshield washers, kind of F1 style using your thumb. And then your light controls are going to be over here. So you have daytime running lights off, you have auto, DRLs on, and then full headlights on. So a bit different. There's no kind of turning dial over here. You use this switch down here. Very cool. You do have paddle shifters. What are the paddle shifters for? It's an electric car. Well, if you're in drive mode, you can change how aggressive your regenerative braking is using these paddles. Either more aggressive or less, of course. 3 driver memory settings, it appears, with your odo and tripometer buttons just there, and then your power trunk just there. So, very familiar Lexus product, except for this yoked steering wheel, which is very cool, and I'm going to show you why it's really cool. So, every other yoked steering wheel, you still have to turn it about 400 degrees to get it to turn to full lock. This one, though, I don't know the exact measurement. It's either between 120 to 150 degrees, but I'm going to go to full left lock. That's it. So it is a drive-by-wire system. There is no steering rack. You simply turn, and that's full lock. And that's full lock. So you never have to make a full rotation. As you can see, my hands never have to leave the wheel. I'm still connected down here as well for full left and full right. It makes for a very unique driving experience. It's super responsive, I'll tell you that much, and in sport mode, it's almost too responsive. You have to get used to it in sport mode, but very cool nonetheless that they figured out a way to do it without having to cross hands and fumble about touching a flat bottom, or as you're making the rotation left, touching the horn and trying to scramble in an emergency situation. There shouldn't be any emergency situations. It's just going to be left or right, and you look kind of cool doing it. So very neat stuff there. Let's check out the back of the new RZ and see if it does in fact compete with that RX product. Back of the new RZ. It's always interesting getting in the rear seats of an electric car because you don't have a massive transmission tunnel here, but more vegan materials being used on the back. These are the door handles like I was talking about. A simple push to open it, or if your battery is dead, you can give it a pull twice and that will unlock your door for you. So I'll put it back into the position as to not piss it off too much. But you have heated seats back here. 2 USB-C charging points and a 12-volt power outlet. And then if you pull this down, you'll of course reveal 2 cup holders and a nice armrest. No storage back here, just in your door cards where you have cup holders back here as well as a little bit more storage. But you have vents so you can be nice and comfortable in the back of the new Lexus RZ. So enough here. There's a panoramic sunroof too. But enough here, let's go check out the rear end where a lot of unique design changes have been made. The back of the new RZ will have similar design language to Lexus's other line of luxury products, mainly that connected light bar and of course the Lexus badge actually spelled out. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this. This is foreshadowing where the entire Lexus lineup will be going. Rather than a Lexus badge on the back, you'll simply have a Lexus badge up front, this time illuminated, which is super cool, but spelling of the name just there. Moving past these winglets, you have kind of a sport back design with a ducktail spoiler. Really, really cool. Again, the two-tone paint kind of coming through here as well. Connected light bars, and then a styled diffuser down here, again in black because of that two-tone. But here badging RZ450E with that direct 4, that all-wheel drive like I was talking about. But let's get the back opened up. One simple beep, and it will open and reveal a massive trunk. This is supposed to be about 500 liters of space, similar to the size of the RX. You have a nice privacy cover here, and this one is kind of mesh, so it'll fold up and stow away within the vehicle, just so you don't have to leave it in your garage if you want to stow anything that's higher than this right here. On the left, a couple of tie downs and more luggage tie downs in the back. You have a couple of hooks here if you need to hang anything, and then underneath here will be where you're going to store your cables, and then a little bit more storage back here as well. But if you're traveling with your cables, that is where you'll put them. Otherwise, you can put water bottles or a blanket, things you might need if you ever get an emergency situation. But very easy to load in and out of, nice and low to the ground. You shouldn't be doing any backbreaking, kind of hiking things up in here. So nice to see that Lexus provided a lot of storage in the back of the new RZ. Thank you very much for joining me on this quick introduction into a brand new Lexus product, the RZ450E. Our first venture into full electric for the brand. We're very excited to see where they end up going with this model because, like I said, we don't know too much about it yet. We'll see what the different trimmings are going to be offered, as well as where Lexus is going to go with their full electric. I've asked the person in the booth on top of me to stop this spinning machine, but I don't know how to. So, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the drive.